Hi, more Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast. So I guess I got to do a show today or something. I got to do some sort of show. I don't know what to say about that game. This basketball team hurts my very soul. It hurts my soul to watch this team. You guys know. I don't know what to tell you. How come my video's not popping up out here? There it is. It hurts. How do you have two games like that in a season, much less back-to-back? How does that happen twice? How do you have two games that heartbreaking on the road in one season, let alone in a span of 4 days? That stinks. That stinks. Vanderbilt wins 81-80. I'll have plenty to say about it. I'll definitely have plenty to say about it today on this show. Thank you. We're from the SEC Country Studios here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Got the Shrekking crew on the other side of the glass. They're doing something. They're getting paid. John Burnett, Hail State from Lafayette County. Kenny Manning in Greenville. Shannon Listenby says, from a tie to a T-shirt. Yeah, I guess I've run the entire gamut this week. And the T-shirt, I don't look good today. We were talking about that before I went on the air. Landshark and Terp said how bad I look today. I don't look good. I don't feel good. I guess maybe the T-shirt, I've taken it down too far. I'm too casual today, but I wanted to wear my more Cowbell shirt.
I look good in the T-shirt.
You just put it on over your other
nice
stuff,
clothes.
like Carlton Banks.
That's me.
Hail State from Prairie. Wow. In Monroe County? I think that's where Prairie is. Morning, Brandon. Hello, Stan C. Riddle. Hail State from Huntsville. Hello, Lee Jennings. Hail State says Sue Thigpen with basketball and baseball emojis. That's right. Baseball starts tomorrow. And we're going to talk baseball today. That's going to be our main topic of conversation. Just two topics today. Because I've got a guest, Joel T. Coleman of the Starkville Daily News, self-appointed expert on Mississippi State baseball. We'll talk to him about all things Diamond Dogs as they get ready to start with Southern Miss this weekend, the season getting underway. Still got almost a month until we see that new stadium, but it is coming. It will happen eventually. And we'll talk to Joel T. Coleman of the Starkville Daily News about baseball today. He'll go down the whole list. He'll educate me, and maybe he'll educate you. Or maybe he'll just disappoint all of us. I don't know. I never talked to him on the radio. So we'll see. We'll talk to him. And then we'll talk about men's basketball and how I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. We blew it. The refs blew it. Everybody blew it. Everybody blew it.
Refs blew it again last night? I didn't watch.
Unbelievable. Three of the worst calls I've ever seen in basketball, and not all happened against Mississippi State. Three of the worst calls I've ever seen in basketball happened in the last 10 seconds of that game.
Really?
One against us, a block out on a free throw, wasn't even close to a foul. And then 2 seconds after that, they made it up with the worst call I've ever seen in the history of basketball against Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up losing the game. But it was just pathetic.
When's next game?
Saturday against Ole Miss.
Do you know what time? I'm going to watch it. Provide some analysis.
Are you?
Yeah.
You need a haircut. Have I told you that?
No, I don't. It looks good.
Uh-huh.
I like it.
Hail State from Brinkley, Arkansas. Justin Burford likes the shirt. He likes the shirt.
Thank you, Justin.
He doesn't see yours.
But I'm wearing the same
He's
thing.
wearing the same thing.
He likes yours. He likes mine.
Positive. I'm staying positive here in Greenwood. You know, Grace, that's the way to look at it. The team has come a significant distance this year. The team has improved. You can't deny that. You can't. It just hurts. It's frustrating because you get this close to being back and being relevant, and twice when you have opportunities, heartbreaking losses. Stinks. Justin Burford says something has to be done about SEC officiating. It's absurd. It's awful. And it's not just state games. There's video of Kentucky fans talking about a call they had last night, which was a joke of a call. Danny Carl wants one of our shirts. Well, we got sent these two by Mississippi State Marketing. Yeah, so they sent us. Thank you, Mississippi State Marketing, for sending us these shirts. You were smart enough to send Terp one, even though he's not on camera, and he will never be on camera on my show. But we got sent the shirts along with the helmet, and they hooked us up. Of course, you didn't get one, Landshark. Not something from the J. Crew spring line. J. Crew, do people still buy that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Swaggy store.
Swaggy store.
I like it, yeah.
All right. Didn't South Carolina coach get a fine for talking about the refs? He did, $25,000, which is ridiculous. Coaches, if they talk about them, get fined. Players get fined or suspended. Not fined. They get suspended. And yet officials can ruin games with complete nothing happens to them. Nothing. They're not accountable. Why wouldn't they keep being terrible? What size did Terp get? A youth large.
Correct.
A youth large.
That's what I wear. Youth everything.
Can't keep digging double-digit holes to climb out of. Bob Watson, that's true. I mean, Missouri, I thought the officials stole that game from us. Last night we lost because of us, not because of the officials. Now, the officials helped certain places, but we have that game in control. And if we take care of business, we win that game. At the end, the last 10, 15 seconds. Allen better look to pick up a minimum of 10 points in free throw percentage by next year, or we're going nowhere. I disagree, Ryan McMichael. I disagree. I disagree heartily. We are going somewhere next year. SEC refs have always been bad, but this year takes the cake. I agree. I do agree with that. Now, I could sit here and Michael Clyburn is right. It's Ole Miss's fault somehow. Don't know how, but it's Ole Miss's fault. Somewhere it's somebody in a bow tie calling these shots. Anyway, we'll have Joel T. Coleman on the show. You're going to be calling him right when I start the intro, okay? Going to get him on the phone. We're going to be talking about baseball. Hey, let's not worry about men's basketball. I know you guys all love baseball. You all love the Diamond Dogs. So I'm going to give it to you today. I'm going to talk to Joel Coleman, and he has a show called Knock It Out Joel on Bulldog Sports Radio. I got to say, that's one of the best titles I've ever heard for a show. Anyway, that's his show, and he will be here to talk baseball, and we'll get back to basketball later. And today, for the first time, we do not have a shot of Jack. We have a shot of Jim. A shot of Jim to close the show. You're going to lose games if you can't make more than 6 of 10 from the stripe. Okay. All right, Ryan. That's fine. Yeah, you're right. We need to improve in free throw shooting, but we need to improve in a lot of areas. I think free throw shooting is down the list of things we need to get better at. That's what I'm thinking. All right, now let's go ahead. You ready?
Yep.
Let's do it.
The More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
More Cowbell is the name of the show. It is presented by SEC Country. We come to you every day here from the SEC Country Studios in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Brandon Walker. I am paid to be the host of this show. Therefore, I will do just that. I'm going to do it today as we talk about two sports, baseball and men's basketball. Men's basketball hurt my soul last night. They took my heart out of my chest, put it in the microwave, and turned the microwave on. That's what they did. It hurt. It stinks. I don't like losing the way we lost. I don't like losing at all, but losing the way we've lost the last two games has just been terrible, and it has been a miserable experience. So we'll recount that at the end of the show. First, we'll talk baseball. As Mississippi State and Southern Miss prepare to open the season tomorrow in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. A grand total of 7 tickets were made available to the public, and 7 people, I assume, will be in the stands as Mississippi State gets ready to open a very exciting baseball season. I know last year, the first year of Andy Cannizaro, kind of lifted expectations going into this year. I've got a thumbs up from Terp. We have a guest that we're going to turn to in just a second. At the end, we'll have a shot of Jim. Not a shot of Jack, a shot of Jim. And we will talk about, I always forget to ring the bell. Every day. Why don't you remind me to ring the bell?
I will.
That's how we start the show. We ring the bell. That's on you. That's not on me. All right? Get your act together. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We've got Joel Coleman of the Starkville Daily News who hosts a show called Knock It Out. Joel, is he ready? He's ready for me? Okay, so let's go ahead and talk baseball. It starts this week. We have got Joel T. Coleman of the Starkville Daily News, self-appointed expert on all things Mississippi State baseball. I kid when I say that because he does have an excellent show on Bulldog Sports Radio called Knock It Out, Joel. He is, I would say, probably the one media guy who's an expert on baseball. He would be the guy I go to first, and that's the guy I'm going to right now. Joel, thank you for joining the show.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Brandon. You know, we never got the chance to work together on the Mississippi State beat as life had it. Life pulled you eastward.
Right.
And I got pulled onto the beat. I could have been the donkey to your Shrek. We could have had a great time, but as it turned out, we didn't get to spend a whole lot of time together. So anytime I get to talk to you, glad to do it.
First of all, you get points for calling me Shrek because the producers love that. Second, calling yourself Donkey is even better. I feel like we could have been a great Shrek and Donkey. Alas, maybe it'll happen one day, maybe it won't. But, Joel, I think this year, is it fair to say covering Mississippi State baseball is your favorite sport to cover at Mississippi State?
Absolutely. I grew up going to Mississippi State baseball games, and while I've always watched every MSU sport, baseball was kind of the one that, growing up, that I looked forward to the most. And as a kid, walking into Duty Noble Field for me was like, you know, walking into Yankee Stadium, I guess, for a New York Yankees fan or somebody that didn't get to go to Yankee Stadium a lot. Whenever I got to go to Duty Noble Field, it was just an incredible experience for me. And then to grow up and then work in the athletic department and get to, you know, see kind of the inner workings of baseball a little bit and how to cover the team and things. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to walking into the new Duty Noble and seeing what all that thing has in store, because it looks beautiful from the outside, and what few glimpses I've gotten of it so far. But yeah, it's absolutely my favorite sport to cover by far.
So going into the season, we'll get to the team in a minute. We'll get to the team and the lineup that you tweeted out yesterday. We'll get to all of that. But first, I think the 2018 season, the excitement really is most focused on the stadium and the fact that we're about to open, what do they call it, the Taj Mahal of college baseball. It's basically, I think, probably going to be the best stadium not in the major leagues in this country. How excited are you to get in there and work and just see this thing come about?
It's going to be a blast, and this year will kind of be as most people know, it'll be kind of a not all the way kind of year. Even the press box and things, we'll kind of have to be we'll have kind of an auxiliary type deal they'll have to throw together for us.
Where are they going to put you guys?
That's a great question. They, at least as far as telling me, they haven't told me exactly what the setup will be.
Well, I hope they don't put you on. I hope they don't put you on an elevated platform because you'll have Haydad with you. But anyway, go ahead about the stadium.
Oh, yeah, they haven't really told us much as to where we'll be and things, but nobody really cares where we'll be. They just, whatever for us. But the stadium and things it's going to be awesome. And for those that haven't seen it yet, I'm sure they've seen pictures on Twitter and whatnot. But right now, I mean, when you pull up to the stadium, I mean, it kind of has the feel of almost a big league park. I guess maybe the only difference is, as you look at the left field lounge and things, you can kind of still see the Shira and things like that. So I mean, it's not like a completely enclosed area, but as far as the main grandstand stuff, it looks big leaguish as you pull up to the park. And I believe they're going to start building the left field lofts and things, I believe next month maybe and stuff. So as some of this stuff starts to come together, it's going to, I guess over the course of the next 12 months, I mean, it's really going to probably month by month begin to look more and more like it's going to, like the finished product's going to look. And as excited as I am to get in there and cover a game on, I guess, March 5th or 6th, whatever the first home game is, I'm even more excited for opening day 2019 when this thing's in its full glory. But yeah, it looks pretty awesome right now, and I can't wait to get in there next month.
So yesterday on Twitter, you took to Twitter and you released what's going to be the starting lineup, what Andy Cannizaro told you would be the starting lineup. And let me go ahead and let you plug that right now. I understand you do a show on Fridays on Bulldog Sports Radio called Knock It Out, Joel. Terrific title, by the way. I love the title of that show. But you do a show called Knock It Out, Joel, and you're going to have Mississippi State's baseball coach on there tomorrow, right?
Absolutely. The show drops every Friday. Our esteemed friend Brian Haydad, we'll put that on Bulldog Sports Radio. Every Friday morning.
That guy hasn't eaten steamed food in years. It's all fried. Oh, you said esteemed. Okay, my bad. Go ahead.
And it'll come out on every Friday morning. And tomorrow we'll talk with Andy Canizaro, and he does. I really didn't expect him to when I asked him what position battles was he still kind of toying in his head or whatnot going into the game. It's like, well, we kind of know who it is, and just laid it out for me. So he talks the lineup, and there's going to be 4 first-year players, 3 freshmen in that lineup on Friday afternoon at Southern Miss. And he talks a lot about that, and I guess is he concerned with so many first-year guys going to be swinging the bats, and his concerns there, what if they fail and things. And we talk a little bit, too, about some of the, I guess, how he handles discipline and things on his team. There's going to be a couple of players that won't make the trip to Hattiesburg due to suspensions and things from discipline issues. So we talk a little bit about how he kind of views being the disciplinarian on this team and things as well. So, a lot of good stuff coming on the show tomorrow.
Here's the lineup you tweeted out. Starting pitcher, Connor Pilkington. That's not a surprise. Catcher, Marshall Gilbert. First base, Josh Hatcher. Second base, Hunter Stovall. Shortstop, Luke Alexander. Third base, his last name is Allen. Is that Tanner Allen? What's his name?
Tanner Allen.
Tanner Allen, third base. Left field, is it Rowdy Jordan? Excuse me. For some reason I just wrote down the last name. Rowdy Jordan in left field. Center field, Jake Mangum. Right field, McNamee. And DH, Hunter Van Zyl. Now, what are the surprises to you there? Obviously, Gilbert, Hatcher, Allen, and Jordan are all new faces. Did you expect that many new faces in the opening day lineup?
I didn't, and I guess when you ask me which one surprised me, it kind of depends on how far you want to go back in time. If you want to go back to, just a week or two ago, maybe the only surprise there is at catcher, because I really felt like that Dustin Skelton would probably be the opening day catcher, not because I believe that Dustin Skelton's necessarily a better catcher than Marshall Gilbert, but I guess maybe I'm kind of a little bit used to, maybe the Dan Mullen philosophy of coaching where the veteran guy gets to start first kind of deal, even if the guy beneath him maybe a little better. So anyway, I kind of expected, especially being a catcher and probably his Skelton's familiarity with Pilkington having already been in the program, I kind of thought Skelton may be the opening day catcher. But Gilbert has a lot more offensive upside, a lot more pop in his bat and things. So, like I said a week ago, I thought it'd be Skelton, but it does not surprise me that Andy Canizaro, the guy that prioritizes his offense, went with the guy that has the most offensive upside behind the plate. Back in the fall, I kind of thought Elijah McNamee would be your starting first baseman. Andy Canizaro talked a lot about how they were going to work him out a lot at first base and try to kind of Brent Rooker him a little bit and move him straight in from the outfield and here's first base. But as things played out, all that did basically was give Elijah some versatility. Andy said a week ago that Elijah probably would play some first this year, but Josh Hatcher kind of emerged as the fall wore on, and throughout spring practices, everybody you talk to, he won that job, and he comes in with a lot of promise, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can live up to it. Left field, Rowdy Jordan, that kind of shocked me a week or so ago when Andy kind of laid out that he was probably going to be the starting left fielder, because Rowdy's kind of a guy I kind of penciled in my head as more of an infielder, but his athleticism, he can run, get the ball. I think that more than anything, his defensive ability won him that job in left field. And at third base, Tanner Allen, we've heard a lot about him, but I don't know how that'll work out. He's another guy that they think highly of, but there's some options there. If he doesn't work out, there's Dustin Foscue. Rowdy Jordan can play third, too. You can move him in from left to play third, and you can slide McNamee to left, put Van Zyl on the right, do something else at DH. I don't know. There's a lot you can do. But I guess probably for me, the biggest surprise was maybe either McNamee not sticking at first and Hatcher winning that job, or maybe Gilbert behind the dish.
All right, so let me ask you this. Easy question, simple question, probably be a vague answer. I don't know. Take it wherever you want. What is the identity of this team going to be this year?
I think it's going to have to be a team that just scraps and fights and claws offensively.
Isn't that what Andy Canizaro is? That seems like that was the identity last year. Is that what it's going to be going forward?
Yeah, except the difference being that you don't have a Brent Rooker that's going to come up there and slap a homer once a game and and drive something in the gap every single time. I mean, you have to hope, as a state fan, that Elijah McNamee and Hunter Vansall kind of become those. They don't have to be big boppers, but they kind of have to collectively make up a little bit for Rooker, and not just those two. I don't mean to put it on those two, because you want to see Luke Alexander cut down on the strikeouts and become more of an offensive threat than he was a year ago, too. I mean, you can kind of spread this out a little bit. You don't have to have one guy come in and be Brent Rooker again. And I guess that's kind of the goal. But, yeah, like you said, this team was kind of a scrappy bunch last year. They're just going to have to, I think, do even more so this year, because I don't think this team's going to have, the pop that Rooker had anywhere close to it from anybody. And let's not forget, too, everybody talks about missing Rooker. There's another big piece that's missing out of his lineup that had last year in Ryan Gridley. I think nobody's talking about that just a whole lot. And that kid was as consistent as they come.
Sure.
And
sure.
I was thinking earlier, we're going to talk about this on Friday and on my show tomorrow a little bit. But you look around the diamond, and is there really anywhere that you look at and think, oh, State's better there? And I don't think that there is. I mean, you look at the outfield, Jordan, Mangum, and McNamee, and last year at the end of the year, you're out. I guess I'll throw DH in there too, because Vansall, he's going to DH, and he played outfield at the end of last year. So if you look at that left field to right field plus your DH combo, last year it was at the end of the year McNamee, Mangum, Vansall, and then DH, and you usually had either Cole Gordon or Harrison Bragg or somebody like that. Well, this year you're going to have Rowdy Jordan, Mangum, McNamee, and Vansall. It's either a push, or maybe even you're a little bit more concerned with it because you haven't seen Rowdy Jordan play yet. You don't know what he can do. So you don't really look at that outfield plus the DH combo and think, oh, State's definitely better there, offensively. You hope that McNamee's made strides forward. Mangum will hopefully be a little more healthy this year. He dealt with some hand things last year, so maybe it is a little bit better. But then you look at third base. Cody Brown was playing third at the end of the year last year for State. And you go from Cody Brown to an unproven Tanner Allen. Cody Brown, I will forever say, is maybe the most underrated player in Mississippi State history. All that kid did was get big hits time after time. So I don't know if you feel any better about third. I definitely, Tanner Allen's going to have to prove himself to me for me to say he's better than Cody Brown. So I think you probably downgrade there. Luke Alexander at short. He's not Ryan Gridley. I think you probably have to take a little dip, at least offensively for sure there. Second base, Stovall, same guy. Maybe he's a little more healthy this year, so maybe he's a little bit better, so a push. First base, you go from Brent Rooker to Hatcher. God bless Josh Hatcher, but he'll never be Brent Rooker this year, I wouldn't expect, so you downgrade there. And then, at catcher, maybe Gilbert's an upgrade over Josh Lovelady offensively, but defensively, Lovelady handled that pitching staff like a champ last year and called almost every game. So that may be a push there when you consider offense and defense. I mean, really, there's nowhere on this team that you just look at and you're convinced that spot's better than last year.
Well,
except maybe the pitching staff.
Okay, there you go. That was what I was going to say. No, down the lineup, sure, you can say that, and you're probably right, but having a better pitching staff, or at least a more complete and healthier pitching staff, has to go a long, long way, right? Absolutely, which is why earlier when you asked me what's the identity of this team, I think it's going to have to be kind of like last year. Crap out every run that you can. You're not going to hit the ball over the wall as much because Brent Rooker's gone, so you're just not. And the pitching staff will have to carry this team. Is the way I see it, and I think that the pitching staff can carry this team. I mean, Connor Pilkington was great last year, and I think he's being better this year. And Ethan Small right behind him on Saturdays. I mean, they talk about him like he's as good, maybe better than Pilkington, just unproven. He had control issues a couple of years ago as a freshman when he played. But everybody says he's kind of toned down his velocity. He was throwing 97, 98 as a freshman. Now he's throwing more like mid-90s, 93, 94, 95. And his location is a ton better. So he's kind of reeled that in and become, I guess, more of a pitcher than a thrower, to use the old baseball terminology a little bit. But, I mean, they expect huge things out of Small. And you got two lefties like that, two big 6'4" lefties throwing that kind of stuff on Friday and Saturday night in the SEC. Not many people have that. And that allows you to throw at Jake Billingsley on a Sunday. And then you have options, too, if say, Billingsley struggles. I mean, there are other people you can turn to now. I mean, Cole Gordon's a full-time pitcher now. He won't play first probably any this year. You look on that roster, first base is nowhere near his name now. He's a pitcher that State's got to probably rely on a good bit now with some back end of the bullpen injuries and
suspensions and that sort of thing. Maybe he's a guy that you use back into the pen to start the year, so that could be too. But I mean, you do have options now, and you feel really good about Friday and Saturday. But then again, Ethan Small still has to go out there and prove himself too, despite all the hype. Right now, it's just kind of hype.
Right.
But yeah, you do feel really good about that pitching staff, and I think they're going to have to do really well because, especially in early going with 4 first-year guys, 3 freshmen in that lineup, there's probably going to be some very disappointing offensive games for State in the early going, if I just had to guess.
Sure. We're up against it time-wise. I want to get 2 quick questions in before we get out of here for you. Number 1, and this is very simple. Do you think Andy Cannizaro will win a national championship at Mississippi State?
I think he will, Brandon. I really do.
Sounds fun.
You know, I sat in his office yesterday as I talked to him and things, and he's one of those guys. He's kind of in the Joe Moorhead mold when you want to talk about coaches. Just that he's the same guy, whether you're interviewing him or whether you bump into him, on the street and start. I mean, he's the same guy all the time. The genuine guy that's just a likable guy, and you see that with these recruiting classes that he's bringing in. Now, baseball's a crapshoot. You know, you get to Omaha, and it's basically who's hot, and, you can flip a coin as to who's going to win things. But he's going to have so much talent in that I feel like the State's going to get multiple opportunities in Omaha. And if you get there enough, I mean, eventually you're going to win one. And so I just really do. I feel like he's bringing in the type of talent, and I feel like he has the personality. And you saw what he did last year with a roster that had no business doing what they did. You know, they shouldn't have even been, maybe not even, make a tournament. And lo and behold, they about won the SEC and get a couple of wins from Omaha last year. I think that he has the makeup and the recruiting ability to do it. And it's tough to just sit here and say, oh, yeah, they're going to be a national champion. There's a ton of baseball teams out there every year trying to win a national title, but I think Vic Schaefer's closer. Don't misunderstand me, but
right.
It would not surprise me in the least if somewhere in the next 5 to 10 years, State baseball is right back in that championship series in Omaha and getting the job done.
All right, we're right up against it. I'm gonna have to let you go. I want to say 2 quick things. First of all, do you get to go down to Hattiesburg this weekend, or because I know Southern Miss only made like 3.5 tickets available, but you get to go as media, right?
We're actually splitting it up a little bit. This week, Robbie Falk works with us in both Starkville Daily, so he's gonna.
Robbie Falk Robbie's the worst. Why do y'all get to send him? Why does he get to go?
Well, he gets to kind of double dip a little bit because he works for 24/7 Sports too. So he'll get to cover baseball for 24/7 and for the Starkville Daily. And I'll be here at home for Coliseum as Mississippi State plays Ole Miss and hoops.
Fair enough. Hey, I want to congratulate you real quick. Did I see on Twitter where your young son Cal is going to be a big brother?
Absolutely. We're about to welcome baby Coleman number 2 into the family. I still have some catching up to do to catch up to the Walker clan, but I am on the way.
You know what? I've seen the Walker clan in action the last couple of weeks. You might be wise to go ahead and pump the brakes a little bit. Just go ahead and slow down, take your time. But listen, Joel, I really enjoy having you on the show. Again, listen to Knock It Out Joel on Bulldog Sports Radio every Friday. He brings the heat as far as baseball is concerned. Joel, thank you for being on my show.
Anytime, Brandon. Thank you, man.
All right, that was Joel Coleman of the Starkville Daily News talking baseball. Let's go quickly to basketball as Mississippi State loses 81-80 to Vanderbilt. That sucked. That was awful. You know what happens? It seems like these games are a microcosm of the season and where we are in our basketball program's life. These games are a microcosm because you start off and you watch a little bit and they disappoint you. They fall behind by 10 and you're like, well, I don't care. All right, they're going to lose. It's fine. They're going to lose. And then here comes the hope. Right around the corner, here comes the hope. Here comes Xavier Stapleton hitting 5 threes. Here comes a 17-0 run at Missouri. Here comes hope. Yes, finally. And there's the dagger right to the heart. Whether it's delivered by an official who has no idea what a charge is in Columbia, Missouri, or by a combination of terrible calls, a player shushing the crowd before making the clinching free throw. Everything that happened last night is just a microcosm of the program as a whole. We get to here, and then we get knocked back down here, and it stinks. But we're close. We are so close. We're not a bad basketball team. We didn't lose that game because we're bad. We didn't lose to Missouri because we're bad. We're this close. And every game is a drop in the bucket towards something better. And I know it sucks, and I know it's hard to realize that, especially in the aftermath of losing a heartbreaking game like that, because last night was an all-timer. It was an all-timer. Missouri was an all-timer, and they happened within 4 days of each other. And I know it's hard to sit back and say, well, this team is really getting there. They're really getting there, but they are. They definitely are. Now, last night, we had to have it. It was a must-win game for our NCAA tournament hopes, and we didn't get it. We didn't get it. I do want to say something about the officiating. Mississippi State didn't lose that game because of the officiating. Mississippi State lost the game because Stapleton missed the free throw, and then two players just decided they didn't know how to defend Riley Chance. They just decided, we're going to defend somebody else and let him have an open three, and then he traveled to get there. But officiating didn't lose it. But my God, SEC, if you don't do something about the officiating, I don't know, basketball's never going to truly take off again in this league. There were 3 calls in the last 10 seconds alone that are among the 3 worst calls I've ever seen. The call against Stapleton, when he was simply boxing out on a rebound, was embarrassingly bad. It was embarrassingly bad, and it changed the game from then on out. We would have had a 2-point lead and Weatherspoon at the line, a better free throw shooter, and we would have been in pretty good shape. Might not have won, I don't know. But then they knew there was a bad call, so they called one against Vanderbilt that was, and I'm not a Vanderbilt fan, I'm a State fan. That was the worst call in the history of college basketball. That Vanderbilt kid didn't touch Stapleton. Didn't even touch him. And they called it. And that's 2 calls in 4 seconds. And then you add LaChance taking 3 steps and a bunny hop to get his 3 off. That's 3 calls in 10 seconds that were wrong. Now, did Vanderbilt deserve to win? Probably. Did State deserve to lose? Yeah, probably. But when your officials make 3 calls in 10 seconds, I mean, how do you expect people to watch through that? How do you expect people to enjoy that? But it ain't about the officials. I feel like Missouri was about the officials. That game was. Last night was about us. Last night was about State just not being able to finish a win. 79-76, you're winning by 3. You don't get a rebound on their errant 3 on the next possession, so they get to go to the free throw line. And then Stapleton again misses a free throw and shushes the crowd after making his first. And just losing LaChance. So State did everything they needed to do to lose it. But it hurt our chances a lot for the NCAA tournament, but it didn't kill them. And it's not over. It feels over, but it's not over. There's too much basketball left. This team is too close with too much basketball left to determine their NCAA tournament chances dead. It's not dead. You win your home games and split on the road, you've got a shot. Your home games are Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Your road games are A&M, LSU. You go 3-0 at home, 1-1 on the road. You're back in business as far as the NCAA tournament. You set yourself up to go to the SEC tournament and play some meaningful basketball. And that's all I can ask at this point. So let's do a shot of Jim. We've done a shot of Jack many times on this show. Jack Crystal, the greatest announcer ever in college sports. But I would dare say that as far as the world of college baseball goes, Jim Ellis is probably as good as there's ever been in that. Jim Ellis, longtime Mississippi State voice of the baseball Bulldogs, the Diamond Dogs. He has many iconic calls in his career, but one stands above the rest. One call just sends shivers down your spine, sends goosebumps up your arms. One call stands out above all the rest. And it might be, I think it's probably the most iconic moment in Mississippi State baseball history. It happened in 1990. I think in June of 1990, maybe late May of 1990, Mississippi State playing Florida State in the Southeast Regional at Dudy Noble Field. And Florida State has a lead. Burke Masters comes to the plate in the top of the ninth, if you remember, the top of the ninth, because we were the road team in that game. He comes to the plate. Mississippi State's down, I think, 8-7. I think they're down 8-7. And the bases are loaded, and history happens. Let's go, Terp.
Masters at the plate is 5 for 5 in this ballgame. 3 balls and a strike to Masters. He's going to be sitting on a pitch now. He's going to be looking for a pitch that is in exactly the right spot. And if it's not, he'll let it go by. If Kimball can't throw a strike, this ball game is tied. If Masters gets a base hit, this ball game is at least tied. The 3-1 pitch is a drive deep to left, way back. It is gone. It is gone. A grand slam for Masters. A grand slam for Masters. This crowd is berserk.
Keep it going.
Mississippi State has taken an 11-8 lead in the top of the ninth. The left fielder never turned around. Ronan never turned around. He just stood there as the ball went sailing into the left field terrace.
I got to calm down for a second. I could go fight a dump truck right now. I do not. I mean, that call right there. I mean, what do you say? Iconic moment. Burke Masters hits the grand slam, and I know if you're on the here right now, if you're on this show right now, if you're watching, even and if you're listening, in your mind's eye, you can see. If you were there that day, you can see that home run. You can see it. I was in the right field lounge, as you would call it, and I saw it. Now, I went to left field, and it just looked like a missile, a rocket launched out of Duty Noble Field. It was not a towering drive. It was a line drive, but it was a bomb, a complete bomb, and everything that Jim Ellis, it takes you right back to it. That's such a great call. This crowd is berserk, a grand slam for Masters, because when he says the crowd's berserk, I've never seen a crowd physically look like that when they were going excited. It looked like people were just throwing each other out of the aisles. I mean, it was crazy in there. It was an amazing moment. Oh my God, it was an amazing moment. Woo, man! I want to go play baseball right now. All right, that was fun. Jim Ellis, one of the greats. Somebody said, is he calling games this year? I'm relatively certain he is. I'm relatively certain he is still doing baseball, right? I'm pretty sure, yeah. So we will go ahead and finish it here. We'll be back on Monday. So look forward to that. On the podcast, I'll drop you off. Facebook Live, here I come. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Man, I just, what kind of crazy dreams as a kid did you have that would involve wanting to fight a dump truck? So, to my left is the production room, and then beyond them is the window. And outside, I'm looking at a construction site as they're building a big State Farm building, and there's a bunch of dump trucks. So I looked outside, and they look imposing, and they're in the back there, yeah, by the bulldozers. Way in the back. See, he's moving. There he goes. See him? Yeah. That was really good of him to drive because you weren't going to see him unless he moved. So that's why a dump truck is what I use there. Best Steven Seagal film, Above the Law, probably Above the Law, and mainly because that's the only one I remember. So definitely going to go Above the Law. What are the other ones? They were all the same movie, right? Just what different titles? Micah Halfacre says, a deep NIT tournament run will be better than one and done in the NCAA tournament. Your thoughts? I disagree wholeheartedly. 100% disagree. We've had this discussion before. It might have been somebody else. There's nothing about going to the NIT that is better than anything about going to the NCAA tournament. Even if it's just one game, at least your team has experienced the practice, at least they've experienced the hype, at least they've experienced the chance to be in the NCAA tournament so that next year, when they build towards being a better seed in that tournament, they'll be more ready. NIT gets you ready for nothing. It gets you ready for nothing. NIT, you tell me who the Final Four in the NIT was last year. I'll wait. You don't know. I don't know. I know TCU won it, but I don't know anything else about it. NIT, don't get me wrong. If we go to the NIT, I'll be all about it, and I hope we make a deep run. But if you give me the choice of one game in the NCAA tournament or 4 games in NIT, it's one game in the NCAA tournament. And for all you guys saying, oh, well, it's for the experience, it's for playing in it's for gaining experience, this team is going to go through 18 games in a very good SEC and 2 or 3 more maybe in the SEC tournament. They got plenty of experience. They need to experience something good like going to the NCAA tournament. I only like NIT because this team needs to learn to win still. Again, they're being taught lessons in the SEC right now. They're being taught those lessons. I would rather see them get to play somebody on a neutral site to experience the NCAA tournament because we got bigger plans than the NIT or one game in the NCAA tournament. So, yeah, Stephen Petrella says because I smoked you in the NIT bracket challenge. He did. We don't do NCAA tournament bracket challenge round. That's easy. That's what everybody else does. That's corporate. You all are sellouts. We do NIT bracket challenges.
Potential Maryland, Mississippi State in the NIT.
In the NIT? That's how very depressing for all of us.
It's terrible.
That's embarrassing. Ryan McMichael agrees with me. Jay Robertson disagrees. So I guess some of you really think the NIT. I mean, this isn't exclusive to you guys either. I've seen it on the message boards, but there are people here that believe an NIT run is superior to an NCAA appearance, and you're free to believe that. You're definitely free. You're free to believe that Elvis is alive and managing a Publix in DeLand, Florida. You're free to believe that, but it's not true, and neither is the NCAA tournament being inferior to 4 games in the NIT. So play Duke and get beat by 30 is good because our guys are. So what you're saying is, so playing Duke and getting beat by 30 would be as good as playing in the NIT. Yeah. First of all, we wouldn't be a 16 seed. We wouldn't play Duke. Or I guess they've kind of fallen down. We wouldn't be a 2 or 15 or 16. Anyway, we wouldn't play Duke in the first round. But yeah. Any appearance in the. I guess let me put it like this. Would you rather lose in the Sugar Bowl or win in the Belk Bowl? It's a decent question, right? Scott Murphy Vaughn says, I love Elvis. Yeah, I do too. Best Elvis song is Suspicious Minds, and I'll never be convinced otherwise. Duke loss greater than a Southeast Missouri win. NIT is garbage compared to any game in the Big Dance, says Noble Ashley Gideon. Ryan McMichael says you don't have a chance to make a Final Four or win a national title in the NIT. Common sense. 4 games late in the basketball season won't make the difference they think, says Corey Dickey. This is basketball, not football. Correct. Please explain NIT for those of us who don't really know. Okay, so you got the NCAA tournament, which takes 68 of the best teams. They play for a national title. NIT is the next 32, and they play for – what do they play for? The NIT championship. Hooray, we're number 69. Nice. What about an NCAA play-in game loss? It's still considered the NCAA tournament. However, I'll disagree with you guys. If we get in a play-in game, we're going to win it. I don't think anybody's going to want to see us in a play-in game. That's personally my opinion. Maybe I'm being a raging homer there. Prediction for our SEC tournament seed. So where are we at right now? We're around that 6 or 7 range. I think we're going to close pretty strong. I think we could be anywhere between 5 and 8, maybe 4 and 8. Because after Auburn, Tennessee, it's just a logjam. Florida lost last night at home. Kentucky lost last night. We're tied with Kentucky right now. Think about that. We are where we are. Maybe NCAA tournament, maybe not. That's exactly where we are. We may be good enough to get in. We might not be. I don't know. How can you expect to win the NCAA championship if you can't win the NIT, says Matthias Fisher. So State's not going to win the NCAA championship this year. But being in the tournament is much more prestigious than winning the NIT. The worst team in the NCAA tournament is more prestigious than the best team in the NIT 100% of the time. 100%. I'm surprised there's passionate debate on this. I'm surprised there are fans on both sides. I'm going to go a little long today to make up for, my guest went a little long. So I'm going to go a little long today. Is that all right? Very judgmental eyes right there. Very judgmental. I say we all just get along and eat a good steak. Michael Clyburn.
I like that.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's just all go get a steak. Non-invited tournament says all you need to know. You get better playing better teams, not playing cupcakes, says Corey Dickey. Kenny Manning wants me to get Van Studeman on the show. I'll reach out. I'll definitely reach out. Hey, they have a softball has an assistant from Point City, Tyler Bratton. He is from Point City, a couple of years younger than me. It's not about winning the dance, it's about being noticed, says Landon Miles. Are you saying that winning more than NIT would get us noticed more than being in the NCAA tournament? I will counter that by saying what it would take to get us in the NCAA tournament over the last couple of weeks will get us more noticed than just going to the NIT. If we were to go to the NCAA tournament, that means we go 6-1, 7-1, 8-1 before getting put out of the SEC tournament. And that would get plenty of notice. I went to Houston's on Tuesday night. Pretty good steak. Had the Hawaiian ribeye. Hawaiian? Did they put like a pineapple on top of it? What made it Hawaiian? What made the? I need to know details about what made this steak a Hawaiian ribeye. What do you think? Probably just put a pineapple on top, right?
Yeah, probably some sweet sauce or something.
Maybe some sweet sauce. Yeah. I await Justin Burford telling me what it meant. I think the difference is some want prestige and some want the team to learn this year. Don't know how much this team would learn from one and done in the NCAA. How much would they learn from the NIT? How much would you learn from playing another home game against a bad team? How much are you going to learn from that? I just don't think there's any more learning in the NIT than there is in one game in the NCAA tournament. What would you learn? Justin Burford says the marinade. And Matthias Fisher says sweetened meat is for wussies. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know. The marinade, it does sound good. I would try the Hawaiian ribeye right now. Kind of like the marinated ribeye at Harvey's. Oh, I got you. What's your biggest hope moving forward for State's athletics? To be honest, my biggest hope is men's basketball. And that goes against the rest of you. I think most of you say baseball or women's basketball or football, but I think men's basketball is really close, and once the light really comes on, it's going to be bright as hell. What if I told you next year we could have the same starting five and replace, minutes from guys like Datcher or Wright with a 5-star from Georgia, with Robert Woodard? That's going to make the team better immediately. Anyone have the new fries at Taco Bell? Let's see, here are the important questions. I have not. I don't eat Taco Bell. I'm not a fast food snob. I mean, look at me. I don't really eat Taco Bell. My daughter loves it, so occasionally I'll take her. They need to learn that last bit of scrap to pull out a tough game with it all on the line, says Shannon Lisby. The problem is in the NIT, nothing's on the line. Nothing's on the line in the NIT. Nothing. You lose in the NIT, who cares? You win in the NIT, who cares? They're learning those lessons, Shannon, and you can learn them in losses. They're learning them right now in the SEC because this SEC is a war every night. Vandy's the worst team in the SEC, and they're not that bad. They're not bad. I mean, they're not good, but this isn't a typical year where there's just a wretched team at the bottom. They're not that team. Yes, they are great. They are wonderful. They are good. I think people love the fries at Taco Bell. Well, they do. They give you nacho cheese with them, right?
Yeah.
Let's go get some Crystal sliders for lunch. Crystal's one of those. Again, I'm not a fast food snob. I don't eat Crystal too much. The quality just isn't really great.
Ever had a White Castle?
No.
Good stuff.
No. There are no White Castles in, well,
They're
anywhere.
in the vending machine downstairs.
Are they really? Well, that's microwave food. All Crystals are sliders. Yes. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. More dog ball to watch if NIT. I really hope. Boy, I tell you, if we make the NIT, I'm going to be all over you guys. You guys better buy tickets. You better go on the road. You better support this team because if that's what you want, then you can have it. I think we're going to the NIT, and I hope we make a run to Madison Square Garden. Crystal equals gut bombs, says Steven Stafford. And James Masters just says crawfish. That's all he says. I don't know what are you suggesting that we eat crawfish for lunch? I could never eat crawfish for lunch. Yeah, I could. You go to the camp house in Starkville. Get you some mac and cheese with crawfish in it. Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Anything else? Landshark, you about ready? You are ready. Terp, you about ready? You have been texting the entire time we've been doing this show. Are you texting or are you playing a game on your phone?
Playing a game.
What are you playing?
Some racing game.
Some racing game.
Just racing my car.
It's the professionals around here that set us apart.
Well, my job is done. Podcast is sent.
If you eat crystals, you better stay downwind. All right, there you go. That's a good place to finish. That is a good place to finish. Now, we'll be back on Monday. Hopefully, State sets the state right in basketball. It's time to turn that around to take ownership of the state back. Andy Kennedy is checking out, and let's go ahead and reassert our dominance over Ole Miss in basketball. It's time for that to happen on Saturday. Baseball happens this weekend. We'll be back Monday to talk about all of it. Until next time, my name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.